Samantha Blake wasn't a manager. She was a force. She didn't need a title to make people stand straighter when she walked into the office. Didn't need to raise her voice to silence a room. Her presence alone, crisp blazer, perfect eyeliner, and that immaculately straight jet black hair, was enough to draw lines between who mattered and who didn't. On floor 17, she was both admired and feared. They called her the queen without a throne. Her desk was always spotless. One monitor, one leather notebook, one designer mug that said win or be replaced. She didn't believe in clutter, physical or emotional. Samantha's power wasn't loud, it was strategic. She didn't yell, she corrected. She didn't criticize, she evaluated. She didn't bully, she refined. Or at least that's what people told themselves to sleep better at night. Because when Samantha didn't like you, you didn't hear it in her words. You felt it in how the room started shrinking around you, and how your tasks got smaller, your voice quieter, and your worth dimmer. And when the new intern arrived, all quiet smiles and soft edges, everyone knew what was coming. Not because Samantha hated weakness, but because she knew how to break it, quietly, precisely, without leaving a mark. Elise Moran was the kind of girl people forgot to notice. Fresh out of university, she walked with her shoulders slightly hunched and her smile too ready, like someone trying to be invisible and liked at the same time. Her navy blazer didn't quite fit. Her shoes were scuffed at the toes. Her ID badge kept twisting backwards. She arrived on floor 17 with a laptop, a notepad, and eyes that blinked too often when she was nervous, which was most of the time. HR introduced her during the morning huddle. "This is Elise. She'll be interning with strategy this quarter." Samantha didn't even glance up. Elise found a seat by the copy machine. No one offered her another. She unpacked slowly, arranged her pens like tiny soldiers, and tried not to take up space. She wasn't dumb, far from it. She noticed how the others moved, fast, confident, sharp. They didn't smile much. They didn't ask questions. They performed. So, Elise watched. She learned. She showed up early, took extra notes, double-checked emails, triple-checked calendar invites. She tried to prove she could keep up. But floor 17 wasn't a place for soft voices. And Samantha didn't train interns. She tested them. It didn't begin with shouting. It began with coffee. Almond milk, room temp, no foam. Samantha left the order as a sticky note. Elise brought back the drink, lukewarm, perfectly stirred, but the lid was still on. Samantha didn't even look at her when she dropped it in the trash. "You'll get it right next time." Next came the file formatting. Elise stayed late reworking a campaign summary, double-checked fonts, margins, references. Samantha opened it once, closed it, and said, "I'll just do it myself." There was no feedback, just erasure. Then came the meetings. Elise was told to take minutes, but was never given context. When she asked a question, Samantha smiled and said, "You're going to need thicker skin." By week 3, Elise was no longer invited to lunch breaks, no longer included in group chats. She was asked to redo slides she'd never received. She was scolded for missing the obvious and lacking intuition. It wasn't bullying, not in the HR sense. There were no threats, no slurs, no raised voices. Just suffocation. The kind where you still breathe but feel yourself disappearing. And Samantha, she smiled through it all. Said things like tough love and real-world learning. Called it mentoring. But everyone on that floor knew better. They'd seen it before. And no one said a word. Because it was easier to watch someone else crumble than to be the next one on the list.
It was a Tuesday, one of those heavy, gray mornings where even the fluorescent lights felt tired. Elise had worked late the night before. Samantha had tossed her a vague instruction at 6:49 p.m. Update the Q3 forecast slides. Use the raw data. No context, no deadline, no thanks. Elise double-checked the numbers. She added the graphs, cross-referenced the email chain, sent it by midnight. Subject line, slide deck updated, ready for your review. By morning, the pitch was live. Samantha stood in the boardroom, delivering her usual flawless presentation. Her voice was confident, her presence crisp, not a hair out of place. Until a VP paused the slideshow.
"Wait, this projection, Q3 growth at 12%. Wasn't it 21% last week?
The room fell silent. Samantha didn't blink.
Let me double check. Likely a formatting oversight.
She pivoted fast, corrected with poise, kept the meeting on track. But when they returned to floor 17, the temperature dropped. Samantha didn't sit. She walked straight to Elise's desk.
Who edited slide 42?
Elise looked up, already pale.
I did. I thought. I double-checked.
You thought?
Samantha's voice was cold, controlled.
You thought a last-minute intern should make executive-level edits without approval?
The room froze.
Do you even understand how embarrassing that was? I had to fix your mess in front of the board.
Elise stood there, cheeks flushing red, voice caught in her throat.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Then came the line, the one no one would forget. She leaned in, smiled without warmth, and said,
If you want to survive here, you better learn to get on your knees.
"This place isn't for the soft." The words hit like a slap. But she didn't raise her voice. That was the worst part. Elise blinked fast, her jaw tightening as tears rose but refused to fall. Across the room, someone reached behind their screen and hit record. Just 40 seconds. But it was enough to burn everything down. It spread like wildfire. First, it was just in the intern group chat. A blurry phone video, shaky hands, muffled audio. Then someone forwarded it to the junior analyst Slack. By lunch, the whole floor had seen it. By 3 p.m., so had the executive team. 40 seconds. Elise, head down, apologizing. Samantha towering above her, saying, "You better learn to get on your knees." And then this. This place isn't for the soft. She didn't yell, she didn't touch her, but somehow that made it worse. There were no excuses to hide behind. By 5 p.m., a recruiter from another company posted the video anonymously to a professional forum. Toxic mentorship or corporate abuse. It exploded. Thousands of comments, hundreds of shares. Alumni from the company chimed in, so did rival firms. People started quoting Samantha by name. She was always like this. I reported her in 2020, nothing happened. She made my teammate cry during a Zoom call. Elise said nothing. She didn't need to. Because this time, the silence wasn't protecting Samantha. It was damning her. And behind closed doors, the leadership team knew. This wasn't a PR issue. This was a reckoning. The meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. sharp. No agenda, no calendar invite title, just the subject line. Urgent. Conduct review. Samantha walked in with the posture of someone who still believed she had control. Perfect hair, fresh lipstick, phone in hand. But inside the room, legal, PR, HR, and a board member. The silence hit first. Then someone pressed play. 40 seconds. Again, this time on a large screen. When the clip ended, no one looked at her. The head of HR finally spoke. This isn't about tone anymore. It's about culture. The legal rep added, "There's a pattern. We've received multiple reports since the video surfaced. Several are past employees, some were never filed until now." Samantha crossed her arms. "So I'm being made the scapegoat because people are suddenly offended by bluntness?" No one replied. PR leaned forward. "The brand is under fire. Clients are watching. We need resolution. Quickly. Visibly." Samantha narrowed her eyes. "What are you asking for?" A folder slid across the table. Inside, a drafted public apology, a media statement, and a final page labeled Internal Livestream, Gesture of Accountability. She frowned. A gesture? An apology. On camera, live. Accompanied by an act that shows contrition. Something visible, humbling, symbolic.
"Like what?" she scoffed. "Wearing sackcloth? Public lashes?" The board member finally spoke, calmly. "We recommend shaving your head." The words dropped like a hammer. Samantha laughed once, short, sharp. "You're joking." But they weren't. "You can refuse," HR said. "No one's forcing you. But if you decline," legal added, "we'll need your resignation by end of day." And for the first time in a long time, Samantha Blake had no words, just choices. She could have walked away, signed the resignation letter, let the dust settle, rebrand, restart, slip quietly into a new role with a trimmed resume and a sanitized reference. But Samantha Blake didn't walk away from anything, especially not her image. So she agreed to the live stream. The company issued the announcement internally. Live statement from Samantha Blake. Friday, 12 p.m. Mandatory viewing. The subject line alone generated hundreds of DMs, speculation, and nervous calendar blocks. The setup was minimal. Gray background, no logos. One stool, one camera, one table. On the table, a set of hair clippers. Silent, charged, waiting. At 11:59, she inhaled. At 12 o'clock, the live stream began. She looked straight into the camera. No tears, no visible cracks, but her hands were clenched on her lap.
I've made mistakes. I led with expectations, not empathy. I demanded excellence, but forgot the cost. I believed pressure built diamonds, but I forgot that people aren't stone.
Her voice faltered slightly.
To those I've hurt, I hear you now.
She reached for the clippers, hesitated, then put them down.
Before I do this, she said quickly, I just want to be clear. I'm not the only person in this company who pushed hard. I'm not the only one who ever snapped under pressure. Don't turn me into the face of a broken system just because it's convenient. This isn't fair.
But no one interrupted. No voice off-screen said, "You can stop." And the red live indicator blinked in the corner of the screen, reminding her and everyone else that this moment wasn't hers to control. She picked up the clippers again. This time her hands were trembling. The hum filled the room, small, mechanical, but deafening through every speaker across the company. Samantha pressed the blades to her temple, then paused.
I can't believe you're making me do this.
Her voice cracked, for real, raw and ugly.
I built this place. I made this team what it is.
She looked past the camera, searching for someone, anyone, to intervene.
Where were you when they made mistakes? When they cost us clients? Why is it only me in this chair?
No answer. No mercy. Just that relentless, blinking red light. She looked down at the table, then back at the camera, her face flushed, mouth trembling. Fine. She flicked the switch again and dug the clippers into her scalp. The first pass carved a jagged line through her sleek black hair. A long, curled piece fell into her lap. Then another, and another. She gasped involuntarily, as if something had been torn out of her, not just cut. Her mascara, minimal as it was, began to streak. She tried to keep her chin high, but her shoulders curled in. Her breathing grew shallow. Halfway through, she set the clippers down again. Please, this is enough. They've seen it. I've done enough. Still, no one spoke. It wasn't just about punishment now. It was about symbolism, about finishing what had started. A hand, off camera, reached in, took the clippers, and wordlessly, professionally, finished the job. The last strands of Samantha Blake, the image, the control, the myth, fell to the floor like ash. When it was over, she sat there, head bare, eyes glassy, shoulders shaking. No one clapped. No one looked away, because what they had just witnessed was not a statement. It was a collapse. The live stream ended. No outro, no statement from leadership, no fade to black. Just a frozen frame of Samantha, bald, broken, still breathing, before the screen went blank. For a long time, no one in the office said anything. They closed their laptops, refilled their coffee, sat back down pretending they hadn't just watched a woman unravel live. Some whispered, some just stared at their screens. By 4 p.m., an email came from HR. Effective immediately, Samantha Blake will be taking a personal leave of absence. No timeline, no replacement plan, no thank you for her contributions. Her office was emptied before the end of the week. The framed awards on her wall were removed. The Boss Babe mug was gone. And Elise came in Monday. Same time as always. Hair tied back, head lowered, but not in shame.
She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Because now, people said good morning to her first. Someone pulled a chair out for her before a meeting. Her name appeared on an official team roster, no longer as trainee. She got a new desk by the window, a nameplate, her own login, an access badge with no trainee label. No one treated her like a symbol. They treated her like she belonged. And that, more than anything, was the only justice she ever wanted.